The mosquito biting your arm tonight was born in a teaspoon of still water, somewhere within a few steps of where you are sitting. Not in the woods, not blown in from the swamp down the road. In your own yard, in water you walked past a dozen times and never looked at. The saucer under a plant pot, the sag in a tarp, the clogged gutter, the old bucket. And here is a thing almost no one understands. The thing that changes how you fight them forever. You are trying to kill the mosquito after it has wings and is hunting you, which is the hardest possible moment to win. The easy victory is days earlier, when it is a helpless little wriggler in that spoonful of water, and your leftover coffee, it turns out, can reach it there and kill it before it ever flies. But I am going to be straight with you from the start, because there is a lot of nonsense told about coffee and mosquitoes, and I will not add to it. Coffee does not kill the grown mosquito flying around your head. Let me say that plainly, because the loud version of this promises you a magic powder that drops the biting adult out of the air, and that is false. Coffee is not a poison spray for flying mosquitoes. Sprinkle it all you like. The adult on your arm does not care. What coffee genuinely, provably does is two real and useful things. It kills the young mosquito, the larva, in the water where it is born, before it ever grows wings, and its smoke, when burned, helps drive the adults away from where you sit. Kill the babies in the water, drive the adults from your chair. That is the honest power of coffee against the mosquito, and used that way, it is real. So let me show you the working ways, strongest first, and tell you plainly where it stops. We are Samburu, in the dry north of Kenya, and I will tell you, the mosquito is no small matter where I come from. It is not just an itch, it carries the fevers that have killed more of my people over the years than any animal with teeth. So we have always understood the one thing that matters most. The thing I told you at the start. The mosquito is a creature of water, and you beat it in the water, not in the air. Coffee is not an old secret of my people, but the understanding it serves, that you strike the breeding water and not the flying pest, is the oldest mosquito wisdom there is, and it is what makes the coffee actually work. So start with the real weapon, the one that genuinely kills. Coffee in the standing water where the mosquito breeds. Here is the heart of it, and it is a strange and satisfying thing once you understand it. A mosquito does not begin as the flying biter. It begins as an egg laid on still water, which hatches into a tiny, wriggling larva that lives in that water for about a week, and that larva cannot breathe underwater. It must come up to the surface again and again to take air, hanging from the surface to breathe, before sinking back down. That trip to the surface for air is its life. And here is what coffee does to it. Put coffee, the grounds or the brewed liquid, into that water, and the substances it releases, the caffeine and other compounds, poison the larva and, remarkably, stop it from being able to swim up to the surface to breathe. It cannot reach the air, and so it dies there in the water, drowned in effect, killed in its cradle long before it could ever grow wings and come to find you. The studies bear this out plainly. Grounds mixed into water killed most of the larvae in it, and the more coffee in the water, the more of them died. This is not a village tale, it is measured and real. Here is how you use it. You find the standing water around your home, and you must go looking because it hides. The saucers under your flower pots, the bird bath, the clogged gutter, the puddle that never dries in the shade, the old tire, the bucket, the tap with a sag in it, the plant tray, the drain that holds water. Anywhere water sits still for more than a few days is a mosquito nursery. Into each of those you put coffee. A rough measure that works is about 3 tablespoons of used grounds to a cup of standing water, or pour in strong leftover brewed coffee and let it sit. The larvae already in there die, and the water now carries the coffee that kills the next ones. And understand how fast this happens, because it tells you how often you must act and why a few days of neglect undoes everything. A mosquito goes from egg to flying adult in about a week to 10 days in warm weather, sometimes faster in real heat. That means any water sitting still for more than about 4 days is long enough to hatch a new batch, and a forgotten bucket left for a fortnight has bred wave after wave. This is why the work is never once and done, it is a rhythm. Treat or empty your water, and then come back within the week, before the next generation can complete itself. Miss 2 weeks, and you have simply farmed mosquitoes. The 4-day water is the enemy. Nothing that holds water that long gets a pass. And here is something that will make you a believer and let you check your own work. You can see the larvae yourself. Look closely into any water that has sat still for a week in warm weather, and you will see them. Tiny, dark, wriggling threads hanging just under the surface, jerking down when your shadow falls on them, and floating back up to the surface to breathe a moment later. Those are the mosquitoes of next week. Once you have seen them, you cannot unsee them, and you will start checking every still water you pass. And it lets you test the coffee for yourself. Treat a container that has wrigglers in it. Look again the next day and the day after, and watch them stop coming up and go still. Seeing it work with your own eyes, in your own bucket, teaches you more than any promise of mine. So go and look, and you will never again doubt that the mosquito is a thing of the water. And there is an interesting, useful detail the careful studies found. So let me give it to you because it makes the trick stronger. Old, aged coffee grounds work better than fresh ones for killing larvae. Grounds you have saved and let sit for a few weeks are more deadly to the larvae than this morning's fresh ones. So rather than throwing your grounds out, keep a jar of them aging on the shelf through the season. And the older they get, the better they serve this one purpose. Your waste, saved and aged, becomes your larva killer. A few honest details to make it work better. Use plain coffee, the grounds, or black brewed coffee. Nothing with milk or sugar in it. Because milk and sugar in standing water turn foul and feed other things you do not want. Stronger is better against the larvae. A heavier dose of grounds, or strong undiluted brewed coffee rather than weak, kills more of them. For the studies showed plainly that the more coffee in the water, the higher the death among the larvae. And it works on the water that is already a little dirty and organic. The very kind of stagnant, leaf-stained, shaded water mosquitoes most love to breed in. So you are treating exactly the foul little pools they prefer. Match the dose to the water. A small saucer needs only a spoonful or two. A larger pool of trapped water needs a good handful. And err on the side of more rather than less. Now the second thing coffee does in that same water, which doubles its worth, it stops the adult mosquito from wanting to lay her eggs there in the first place. The female hunting for a place to lay her eggs is choosy, and the studies found she avoids water that has coffee in it. She does not want to lay in it. So the coffee in your standing water does two jobs at once. It kills the larvae already hatched, and it turns the mosquito away from laying more there. The water that was a nursery becomes a place she shuns and her young die in. That is a genuine double blow at the breeding source, which is the only place the war is truly won. The third use is for the adults that are already flying. Around your chair in the evening. And here I am honest that it is the weakest of the three and a repellent, not a kill, burning the coffee grounds for their smoke. Take dry used grounds, and they must be properly dry, so spread them in the sun or a warm place until they are dry through, and set them smoldering in a heat-proof dish, a slow smoke, not a flame, the way an incense or a mosquito coil smolders. The smoke drives mosquitoes back. Now, the honest truth, there is no special proof that coffee smoke in particular is better than any other, but there is good evidence that smoke itself repels mosquitoes. It irritates the fine scent receptors they use to hunt you, and they steer away from it. So smoldering dry coffee grounds give you a cheap homemade version of the smoke coil, made from your own waste, to push the adults back from where you sit of an evening. Take it for what it is, a real but modest repellent for the few hours you sit out, not a thing that clears your yard. It helps too to know which water to hunt hardest, because not all still water is equal in a mosquito's eyes. The mosquitoes that bite around homes are particular. Many of them love small, contained, shaded, still water close to the house, far more than a big, open sunlit pond. The bucket, the saucer, the bottle cap, the fold in a tarp, the blocked gutter, the vase, the tray under the cooler. The little hidden containers near where people live are the worst offenders, not the obvious pond at the bottom of the garden. So when you walk your yard, look low and look small, and look in the shade, and close to the walls of the house. A bottle cap of water in a shaded corner can breed mosquitoes, and the smaller and more hidden it is, the more likely it has been overlooked for weeks. Hunt the small shaded containers near the house hardest of all. for that is where the biters that trouble you are most often born. Now I keep my promise and tell you plainly where coffee stops, because the honest neighbor does not let you walk off believing too much. Coffee kills the larvae in water you treat and turns the female away from laying there, and its smoke pushes adults back for an evening. What coffee does not do is kill the grown mosquito flying free, and it does not reach the breeding water you never found. So if you treat the saucer by your door, but miss the clogged gutter and the sagging top at the side of the house, the mosquitoes pour out of the ones you missed, and coffee on the one you found changes little. This is why coffee, real as it is only ever part of the answer, and the larger part is the part no one sells you, because it is free and dull. Find and empty the standing water. Every few days, walk your whole yard and tip out, turn over, or empty every single thing holding still water. The saucers, the buckets, the tires, the tarps, the toys, the blocked gutter, the tray under the air cooler, the pet's water bowl. Water you tip out breeds nothing. The coffee is for the water you cannot easily empty, the gutter you cannot reach to clear, the pond, the drain, the low spot that always holds water. And for those, coffee in the water is a genuine help. But the walking and emptying is the foundation, and the coffee sits on top of it. Do the coffee and skip the emptying, and you have done a tenth of the job. Do not forget the water inside, and right against the house either, because people hunt the garden and miss what is under their own roof. The tray beneath the refrigerator or the air cooler, the water sitting in a little used drain, the vase of flowers whose water is never changed, the saucer under a houseplant, the cracked toilet cistern in the spare room rarely flushed. All of these breed mosquitoes indoors, quietly, all season. Change the vase water every few days, flush the unused drains, empty the cooler tray, and pour strong coffee or a little oil into a drain that holds water and cannot be emptied, so its larvae die too. The mosquito that bites you in your own bedroom was very often born in your own bathroom or kitchen, in water you never thought of as water. And one real caution I must give you, sharper than the rest, because the careless never mention it. Coffee, that same caffeine that kills the larva, is genuinely poisonous to dogs and cats. So when you put coffee grounds out in your yard, in water or scattered, keep them where your pets cannot get at them and lap them up or eat them. Because a dog that eats a good amount of coffee grounds can be truly poisoned. Treat the standing water in places the animals do not drink from, and do not leave piles of grounds where a curious dog will find them. The thing that kills the mosquito's young can harm your own animals. Place it with care. Let me say the part that is bigger than a cup of grounds. Notice the shape of this, because it is the shape of the whole mosquito business and of much else besides. The loud promise, coffee kills mosquitoes fast, is false in the way it is meant, because it points you at the flying adult, the hardest and least winnable target, the one you slap at in the dark. The quiet truth points you somewhere humbler and far more powerful, at the still water, days earlier, where the thing is helpless. And that quiet truth is the one no company shouts, because there is no product in it. Your own leftover coffee and a walk around your yard tipping out buckets cost no one anything and earn no one a coin. So you are sold the spray, the plug, the candle, the monthly truck that fogs your yard and is gone by the weekend while the gutter still breathes. Because the flying mosquito that keeps coming back is a customer forever, and the emptied bucket that breeds nothing is a sale lost. The expensive answer chases the adult you can see. The free answer strikes the water you have to go and find. And the free answer is the one that actually thins them, because it ends them before they fly. A person who understands that the mosquito is born in a spoonful of still water, and that you beat it there, emptying what you can, treating with coffee what you cannot, and pushing back the rest with a little smoke, is a person who actually reduces the mosquitoes around their home, instead of slapping at the air forever and paying a truck to fog the yard. That is the whole of it. My people learned long ago, out of hard necessity, that the mosquito is a water problem wearing wings, and the one who solves the water solves the mosquito. So here is what to do. First, and most important, walk your yard every few days, and empty everything holding still water. The saucers, buckets, tires, tarps, gutters, trays. Because water you tip out breeds nothing, and this is most of the whole war. Then, for the standing water you cannot empty, the gutter you can't reach, the pond, the drain, the low wet spot, put coffee in it. About 3 tablespoons of grounds to a cup of water or strong leftover brewed coffee, and let it kill the larvae and turn the females away from laying there. Save and age your grounds for a few weeks, because aged grounds kill the larvae better. And of an evening when you sit outside, smolder a dish of properly dried grounds for their smoke to push the adults back from your chair. But keep all of it well away from your dogs and cats, for the coffee that kills the larvae can poison your pets. Then tell me below, where do you live, how bad are the mosquitoes, and when you finally walked your own yard looking, what standing water did you find that you had never noticed? Tell me what you found, because I promise you found something. I read every one.
Until then, strike the water and not the air. Empty what you can and treat with coffee what you cannot. And remember that the mosquito haunting you tonight was beatable days ago, as a helpless thing in a spoonful of water you only had to find.